Well, Demon Slayer the Swordsmith Village arc has come to an end, and people slightly care about it? I don't know. It feels like this third season of the anime has kind of flown under the radar. Or at least as under the radar as you can get for a blockbuster ufotable production. Because don't get me wrong, people still watched Demon Slayer, of course, but there just wasn't as much fanfare around it like there was for the rest of the series. It's weird, but I mean, there was just so much else to watch this season, I kind of get it. Honestly, it's whatever though, because as someone who read the manga, I had a feeling this season would be a little less exciting for some people, because, well, the manga arc wasn't all that exciting. At least in my opinion. But who cares? We can still talk about it anyway, because I filmed my whole reaction to the season, which you can watch full length and uncut on Patreon. So let's talk about Demon Slayer, the Mitsuri Kanroji arc, or whatever it was called, it doesn't matter. Number 1, more like D-Mid Slayer, am I right? Okay, so what's the rundown on season 3? What's the quick premise? Well, Tanjiro and his friends visit the hidden swordsmith village of the Demon Slayer corpse. Uh-oh, some demons attack. Tanjiro and his friends beat the demons. Then something happens to Nezuko. That's it. That's what happens this season. Now, to be fair, you can condense any other Demon Slayer season like this too. But that's kind of the point of Demon Slayer. It's nice and, well, to the point. You're here to watch a bunch of demons get slayed, right? Don't you get excited and hyped to watch colorful lines moving on a screen? Oh my god. There's so many lights, it's like EDC, dude. This is what all Asian people see during raves, bro, because they're off that molly. Just lights everywhere. I'm too old for this, bro. And jokes aside, actually, this is a huge turning point as far as plot goes for the anime. The whole idea of Nezuko having sun immunity is what sets into motion this final arc of the series. So this is like the climax and shit. Like, this is the end game. This is a huge development in the plot, by the way. If y'all don't know, we are in the end game for the series now, because this is a huge turning point. But hey, I can kind of get why people weren't as excited by this season. After the big spectacle of the Red Light District arc, what can you follow it up with? Another big spectacle. Last time we got a Hashira fighting an Upper Moon. Well, this season we got 2 Hashira fighting 2 Upper Moons. Oh my god. It's like having a perfectly cooked Wagyu steak and then following it up with another perfectly cooked Wagyu steak, except this one may be slightly less seasoned. But then I guess you get maybe a dope dessert afterwards, because that final episode of this season is what really sets it apart. I don't know. Does that metaphor make sense? Number 2, sweet, sweet victory. I mean, okay, so let's think about it this way. What's the number 1 quality that makes Demon Slayer good from a writing standpoint? For me, it's the fact that the show has exciting, high-stakes fights where the heroes overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. The overwhelming threat of the Upper Moons has been well established in Demon Slayer from the very beginning, so any confrontation with them already feels like an endgame boss raid. And somehow Demon Slayer has managed to keep up this level of threat intensity for the whole show, even though we haven't had any enemies that weren't one of the 12 Kizuki for a while now. So here in season 3, we got Upper Moon 4 and Upper Moon 5 as the main antagonists of the arc. I mean, they're fine. They're not as interesting to me as Gyutaro and Daki were, or even like Akaza. To me, those Upper Moons felt much more menacing, and their fight felt a bit more desperate than the ones in season 3. But again, that's up until the final episode. I think season 3 really succeeds at delivering the pure rush of capturing victory from the jaws of defeat, and again, that's what Demon Slayer does really well. Obviously, our heroes are pushed to the brink physically. They all get beaten black and blue like usual, but they're not as on the verge of death as season 2, or even season 1 and the Mugen Train arc. But instead, the desperation comes from being physically forced to bring out their Demon Slayer marks, and of course, Nezuko getting fried like Popeye's chicken. Bro, me when my eczema flares up. Yeah, you gotta choose. It's like Spider-Man when Green Goblin is holding up Mary Jane and the thing full of kids. Now choose, hero. Dang. Oh, that was an incredible shot, actually. I was gonna go back, but let me not do that. And that whole sequence of feeling like this was the end for Nezuko and how Tanjiro furiously kills Upper Moon 4 with no remorse was the kind of cathartic release that we love from Demon Slayer. It's the equivalent of Nezuko and Tanjiro beheading Rui together, or everyone working together to kill Gyutaro and Daki. After an entire season's worth of struggle and with the wear and tear of battle physically visible on our characters' bodies, seeing a clutch victory like this is like finally being able to bust a nut after after edging for an hour straight. Number 3, insert sob story flashback here. You know, most people, I feel like if given the choice, wouldn't willingly join an organization that hunts super-powered mutant beings that can attack you with like drums. I mean, I'm sure some do. They're probably like the equivalent of people who become cops after high school just cuz. And then, you know, there's Inosuke who literally just robbed some dude. But a lot of the Demon Slayers, meaning the ones we actually care about, like the Hashira specifically, have personal tragic reasons as to why they joined the corps. In this season, obviously we have Muichiro, who reveals that he joined the Demon Slayers after his brother was murdered by a demon. Pretty rough stuff, right? You see, these little interludes into the characters' histories are important to humanize them, especially since this show is so intent on making every character look like a huge asshole when we first meet them. It's all important and all that, and for the most part, it's all really well done. But for me, the problem is how awkward the show is when inserting these flashbacks. It's really one of my biggest complaints with the show in general, and it's especially a problem in this season. It's not like it ruins it or anything, but in a season where the pacing already felt very strange, it makes it even more frustrating to have to sit through a tragic backstory where we can already see the outcome, considering like everybody has had something sad that's happened to them. And then you have Kanroji's backstory, where she joins the Demon Slayer Corps because she wants to get a man. I mean, fair, I guess. Number 4, the Mitsuri Kanroji appreciation section. Alright, since I mentioned her, let's talk about Kanroji for a bit. She's pretty great, let's be honest. And yes, I'm only saying this because she's voiced by the GOAT Kana Hanazawa. Here we go. We're kneeling for Kanroji. I don't even remember how this fight goes. I don't even think she does anything, but I'm just so excited. What if she just got folded like instantly? It's like Shinobu would never. Safe to say I've been very excited for her to do her thing in this arc. But man, does she get hoed. And I thought this way back reading the manga too. Despite being one of the stronger Hashiras, Kanroji is relegated to like distraction bait in this arc. And of course she puts up an exciting fight holding off the most powerful form of Upper Moon 4, and she gets her Demon Slayer mark and all that. It's fine, it's exciting. But I feel like she misses out on those great victorious moments that the other Hashira get. I'm not talking about necessarily 1v1ing an Upper Moon on her own, but I mean they literally forgot about her as she's missing out on the big climax of the final fight. And actually she was about to straight up die before Tanjiro finished off Upper Moon 4. Rengoku gets a big moment, Uzui has one, Muichiro has his moment defeating an Upper Moon, but Kanroji gets hoed, man. It's like, what? And I don't think it's just because she's a girl or whatever, since spoilers for the manga, even Shinobu gets a big moment against an Upper Moon later on. I guess her consolation prize is that she's now bound to be a fan favorite cosplay choice for the foreseeable future. Number 5, but Damian, I need you to tell me if this season is good or not. So, what's the answer to my shameless clickbait title? That's why you're here, right? Also, probably to see the reaction footage. Don't worry, that's coming next section. Is this the worst season of Demon Slayer? No, I don't think so. But it's not the best either. If you really think about it, this season and the last season could be switched around, and I think people would be having this same conversation. Meaning, if the order went Swordsmith Village arc and then Entertainment District arc, we'd be sitting here discussing whether or not the Entertainment District arc was the worst Demon Slayer arc. Because they're both the same thing, right? Minus the actual plot relevant stuff with Nezuko and the sun and all that. So no, I don't think Demon Slayer Season 3 is the worst season, and I don't think it's bad at all. I personally really enjoyed this season despite all the mixed reaction. I don't care about all the CGI, it looked fine to me personally, and I think Chainsaw Man looked more awkward, and I don't even think that was all that bad. And yeah, the pacing was strange, and the backstories felt shoehorned in, while the fight itself felt like it was drawn out a bit too long, but hey, I thought it was exciting enough for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. The stakes are still there, and it still felt like a desperate fight. But you know, if anything, I think the people who weren't fans of this season are suffering from the anime equivalent of superhero burnout. You know, because a lot of people are getting sick of comic book movies because Disney keeps churning out a new superhero film like every other day. I think some people are getting tired of the Demon Slayer formula, and again, this was a problem with the manga too. And I think that's fair, but to me, as long as Ufotable continues to elevate the source material the way it has been, I think it'll still continue to be exciting for me personally. Number 6, miscellaneous thoughts and reactions. Okay, and now for the section where I just play random clips from my reaction footage in hopes that you'll go pay for my Patreon to see the full thing. First things first, what's with all these terrible episode endings? Oh yeah, lock in, Tanjiro. They can't be for real. That is the wildest play. Nah, you foldable, y'all not shit for that, bro. The way they end these episodes is so like awkward and unceremonious. Nezuko, just light the whole place on fire. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Like, what a strange place to end. Like, no... Like, I feel like they end in the middle of a scene. I don't know if this goes hand in hand with the pacing problems or not, but holy, did this season have some of the most awkward episode endings ever. It felt like they just saw they were reaching the 23-minute mark and were like, oh, we're out of time. Just cut the episode here. Just go into Premiere Pro and use a little cut tool. That's it. The episode's over. Also, I think it goes without saying, but Nezuko's light little air fryer scene was really well done. Oh, she looks insane. She looks like Armin in Attack on Titan. No spoilers, but that looks terrifying. What? Can you imagine if Nezuko actually like bit the dust here? No pun intended. Remember those fun times when you tried to murder me in the snow? Me leaving my food in the microwave for too long, be like, if you can count on anything in this world, you can count on Ufotable delivering a visual treat. Alright, what else can I talk about? I don't know. I'll just put in some random clips for y'all. You can watch the rest of it. This is a side note, but it's like, I see some other reaction channels, because I'm not a reaction channel, y'all know this. I love how they all think that Yoriichi is Tanjiro's dad still. Because a lot of them are like, how does he not recognize his own dad? It's like, because that's not his dad. Nezuko don't give a fuck, bro. She's just like, yeah, whatever, bro. Just keep braiding that shit, bitch. Make sure those braids tight. I can't regenerate my head. Hey, neither can I, so nothing to be ashamed of. I would have a lot of problems if somebody cut my head off. I want to see what Kana Hanazawa looks like in the studio recording those little hey, you know what I mean? Like, me in the hookah lounge. Yeah, and I know how everybody talks about how the mangaka of Demon Slayer has said like the breathing technique effects aren't real. But it's like, how could this not be, I don't know, how could it not be real? Oh, he's about to light up. Huh? What? Did his foot just explode? Yeah, you're permanently crippled for the rest of your life. Like, NBA players get something torn in their foot and they can't walk right, like, for the rest of their lives. Oh, I remember this too. I don't know how I feel about this. The fact that he became a demon through quote unquote scientific causes. It's like a medical mistake. I kind of like the more supernatural angle to the demon. It's not a big deal, but it just kind of takes the mystique out of it. But it's not that big of a deal. Just me personally, I would have made it a supernatural thing. Instead of like, he's an experiment gone wrong. He's essentially like a zombie, low-key. Well, not really. Not even. He's just like a mutant or something. Okay, now it kind of makes sense that it's a scientific thing. Because they're doing scientific research to try and prevent these demons, yeah. I take it back what I said earlier. I don't mind that. Well, now we have to kill you because you saw the entrance to the village. I'm just kidding. You saw too much. We only moved 2 inches on the path back, but that's already too much for you to have seen. Alright, that's all I gotta say about Demon Slayer for this season. Like I said, I had a good time watching it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. And again, check out the Patreon for the full-length, uncut reactions. Otherwise, that's the video. Peace. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta go back for a second. Wait. Look at how she looks. Oh, hell no. Hey, shout out Ufotable, y'all.